You ever have one of those bosses who think panic is leadership, the kind who mistakes shouting for control? Yeah, that's where my story begins. I work as a lab technician at a hospital in Milwaukee. 9 months into the job, I thought I'd seen stress, but then I met Derek, my supervisor. He's the kind of man who could turn a coffee spill into a full-blown emergency. Always on edge, always micromanaging, and when something went wrong, somehow it was everyone's fault but his own. 2 weeks ago, the state inspectors came through. For most of us, that's just another day. But for Derek, it was doomsday. The man practically combusted. He ran around like a headless chicken, barking orders, double-checking everything, and muttering about compliance, like the word itself could ward off evil. After the inspection, something in him broke. Friday morning, he sends out this massive department-wide email, in all caps, mind you, saying from now on, we're doing everything by the book. No shortcuts, no exceptions. He even wrote, steps about lil be immediately. At first, we all rolled our eyes. It's not like Derek's freakouts were new. But this one hit differently. Because the protocols he was talking about, the ones in the official manual, were ancient. We're talking 1997 outdated. The kind of rules written before half our equipment even existed. Still, I thought, fine. If he wants to play this game, I'll play it. See, in our department, one of our key tasks is sterilizing equipment using UV light. Normally, we give each piece a reasonable exposure, enough to ensure it's clean, but not enough to waste time. But the official safety manual, it demands an 8-hour UV cycle between each use. 8 hours. We have 6 machines. We run about 40 tests a day. You can do the math. It's physically impossible. Monday morning rolls around. I start my day like usual, only this time I decide to follow Derek's new rule to the letter. I load up the first machine, close the chamber, and set the UV sterilization timer for 8 hours. Then I sit back. Half an hour later, Derek strolls by, coffee in hand, full of fake authority. "Why aren't you running samples?" he asks, already annoyed. I keep my face neutral, polite. "I'm following protocol," I say, and show him the manual. He squints at it, reading the section about sterilization, and I swear, watching his expression shift was like watching a thunderstorm roll in. Confusion. Realization. Panic. Then anger. "You know that's not what I meant." He blurts out, "Oh." I reply as calm as possible, "But your email said we're doing everything by the book, no shortcuts." Remember, the silence that followed was delicious. He didn't know what to say. His mouth opened, closed, opened again, like a fish gasping for air. But the best part, he had no choice. I wasn't technically breaking any rules. I was doing exactly what he ordered us to do. Within an hour, chaos erupted. Other techs caught on, and soon half the department was following protocol too. Machines sitting idle, timers ticking, tests piling up. Derek's face turned the color of bad sushi. He stormed into his office and called the department head. Then compliance. Then someone from administration. You could hear his voice echoing down the hall. Desperate, defensive, cracking under the weight of his own words. By noon, our department was effectively shut down. Non-emergency testing halted completely because, as compliance later confirmed, that sterilization protocol was supposed to be updated in 2015. It just wasn't. No one ever noticed because, well, nobody followed it. That's when it hit me. The irony was perfect. Derek had spent months lecturing us about precision, about following the rules, about not embarrassing him. And now, his blind obsession with control had embarrassed him in front of the entire administration. We spent the rest of that day in limbo while compliance scrambled to push through an emergency update. Emails flew back and forth, phone calls, meetings, and a lot of people trying to figure out how the system had gone untouched for 10 years. Me. I sat at my workstation, sipping coffee, occasionally glancing at the UV machine humming quietly in the corner, the one that wouldn't be ready until after lunch. When Derek finally emerged from his office, he couldn't even look at me. His posture was deflated, shoulders slumped. The man who once barked orders now shuffled by in silence, like the ghost of his former self. That night, I went home feeling calm. There's a certain peace that comes when you see justice served, not through shouting, not through confrontation, but through patience. I didn't have to outsmart him, I just let his own arrogance do the work. The next morning, my coworker Amanda walked up to me with a grin. "You broke him," she whispered, handing me a cup of coffee. "He's been in meetings all morning. They're rewriting everything." I smiled. Wes, we're really doing things by the book now. She laughed, shaking her head. "You're a menace." Maybe I was. But for the first time in months, the lab felt lighter. People were relaxed. The air wasn't thick with Derek's anxiety and me. I finally got to see what real leadership looks like. Sometimes it's silence, sometimes it's patience, and sometimes it's watching your boss destroy himself with his own rules. Derek never mentioned the incident again. No apology, no confrontation, just avoidance. But that was enough. His pride had taken the hit it deserved. And every time I walk by those machines, I think back to that moment, the flickering blue light of the UV chamber glowing like poetic justice. Because sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's quiet, methodical, and absolutely devastating. If you've ever worked under someone who treated you like you were disposable, you know that feeling. The hunger for fairness, for acknowledgement, for that one moment when you finally turn the tables without saying a word. That's what this was. Not petty vengeance, but balance restored. We didn't just fix a broken policy that day, we fixed a broken mindset. And maybe, just maybe, Derek learned something too. Though I doubt it. Because people like him never really learn. They only fear being proven wrong. But me, I learned that sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't sabotage or rage. It's simply letting the truth play out, 1 8-hour cycle at a time. So yeah, Derek, you wanted everything by the book. And that's exactly what you got. If you've ever had that kind of boss, the kind who mistakes panic for professionalism, then you know how satisfying it feels to watch karma punch a clock. Hit that like button if you've ever dreamed of getting that kinda quiet payback. Subscribe if you love stories where justice isn't just served, it's sterilized. Because in the end, sometimes the cleanest revenge comes with a UV glow.